What's up, everybody? Welcome to IT Security Labs. And today we're going to complete Forgotten Implant from Tryhackme. This machine is supposed to teach us how to take over an implant that's supposed to be communicating with a C2, and hopefully we can actually run some commands there. And if we can run some commands, do some privilege escalation and grab a flag. So without wasting time, we need to join the room from Tryhackme and go ahead and start the machine. They do say here that it will take about 3 to 5 minutes, so we'll wait for it. And while that is happening, I'm using my own attack box, so I will launch my VPN. And once my VPN is launched, I also created a folder called Implant. So let's read this. It says, welcome to Forgotten Implant. This is a pretty straightforward CTF, so that means that there is no games to be played here. And you need to get initial access by elevating our privileges. The initial attack service is quite limited, and you have to find a way of interacting with the system. So we need to interact with the implant. This reminds me more of like the mosquito or IoT interactions where you can intercept traffic. So since this is an implant, I'm already thinking I need to maybe find out if it's on the box, then I can get back to it, or let's see what we can find. If you have no prior knowledge of command in C2, you might want to start with intro to C2. I completed this intro to C2 just to make sure that, this room actually is good. So you can go ahead and learn how C2 frameworks work from this room if you have not done so. Otherwise, we're going to jump in and say, first, we now have an IP address. And going back to my Kali, I can just ping it, make sure that my VPN is working. And here we go. We're getting a response. And I'll say, let's do an nmap. And this is going to say, hey, nmap, can you scan, find service version, and also use default scripts? And VV is what's giving us the output here, because it's verbose. And this seemed to have gone super fast, which is not ideal. Maybe let's look for all the ports. HP, like that. So we're scanning all the 65,535 ports. So while it's scanning, let me open my Wireshark, or maybe TCP dump. Which one? Wireshark, TCP dump. Wireshark is better. I could have used TCP dump, but let me see Wireshark. Is this even talking to me? Let's use tunnel 0, because I'm on the tunnel. And let's start a capture. It's just going through all the ports pretty much. So what I'm looking at here is anything that's not those resets. So let me stop. I'll stop this. I'm not seeing anything. This is too much stuff. See UDP traffic here. This should just be TCP though. So that's interesting. All the traffic that was generated by my nmap, let me stop this. Was this reset an axe? Was, it's not finding any ports. And this one, here's a scene. It's actually just a scene, and it's also port 81. I don't think top 1000 ports include port 81. So let's follow this packet here. Okay. So let's see if we can do a TCP.port. I'll reuse this one here. I think it was 81. That was interesting. Okay, so these are seen, and here these are resets. So we do have traffic for port 81, and if we come back, this is our source IP address, so 10.10.49.80. Let's see if that is reaching out to us on port 81. Yeah, so this machine is reaching out to us, and we have a reset arc, which is interesting, because we should be reaching out to it for a port and say, hey, is this port open? And we get a response. So let's see how this is working. So let's set up a listener on 81. Now I don't know if I need to scan or if this is just going to reach out to me, but either way, I'm going to trigger my nmap scan again and let it run. And if that does actually reach out back to me again, I'll see if actually I will get maybe that's how we get a reverse show. It might be on a schedule. Oh, there we go. So we do get a connection. Is this a full connection ID? Oh, then it exits. Maybe we can capture this. And what is this? Connected to from unknown on this port here. Get heartbeat. Okay, so this is a heartbeat from the implant. And this looks like, what kind of data is this? Base64? It starts with an EY. I would have said it's a JWT if looking at this, but it looks like if this is a heartbeat, maybe there is a message in here. So echo that and pipe it to base 64-D. So it says invalid input, but this looks like it's in a JSON format. That's what this AEY is doing here. So it's JSON data that has been base64 encoded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this syntax here. New file, put it here. That way, if I needed to recraft this payload, I will actually follow this syntax. And I've done something like this with like a room on Tryhackme where we're doing IoT devices with Mosquito. Some of them might be strict with what to expect. So it looks like we have job IDs and we can run a command. I'll leave everything the same except for the command. For the command, let me go to ref shells. And here I need to give it the IP address of my Kali. IPA, so that it reaches back to me. And here I need the tunnel IP. So we come here and say, hey, we're gonna try to do that. Sure, leave 444 the same. And we say this is going to be a reverse shell for the Linux operating system. So this is bash. And here for our listener is going to just be netcat. So first I'll listen. Here's my listener on 444. And here I'd like to send that command. The easiest one will probably be CyberChef. To base64. And then what do I want to base64? Well, I want this command here to be added to where it says the command here. But actually, before I do anything silly like that, let me just ping myself and use TCP dump to listen. If I can ping myself, then I will know that the command is working. So instead of who am I, I'm going to put my IP address and say ping the C10, just in case they're getting dropped. All right, and we have now done that. Let's add this to here. And now here's our base64 encoded command. All right, so that's what they're trying to get. Okay, now that I have my command, I'll come back here and say nano. Let's give it a job. I'll just name it job. And I'll be like, hey, you want that job? Control X, Y, enter. This time I'm going to say it's Python 3 -m http.server on 81. Since they're sending me a GET request, I think they want it to be a web form, so I'll just do that. And while this is happening, let me do a TCP dump here for ICMP, but this will be turn 0. So if my job works, I should see responses here. I should also see that thing reaching out to me right here. The one thing that I'm still not sure is, are we triggering it by running nmap? Doesn't seem ideal. Oh, wait a second. I see an echo reply. So it did reach out. Okay, let's check. Yes, it did reach out. The problem is it didn't actually get a job. So how is this working? Even though my job IDs are not the same. So get, it's looking for a folder called jobs, and the job needs to be named that. Okay, I can do that. First, I will make a directory and name it that and paste it. And then they want a job to be named this. And here I can nano. And this time, instead of job, I'll name it this one. I'm going to come back here and say, okay, CyberChef, this was a ping. This time I want my reverse shell. But I'll also watch here for it to reach out. It's probably reaching out on a regular schedule. I also left the time here. I'm not sure if I needed that. Okay, let me try a different reverse shell. I'll put this one in here. And I get another one. Delete this line and put the new payload. Okay, now let's host it on port 81. I'll stop this and start it again. My listener is already here and my scanner is working. Let's see if it calls back again. And this time, if it doesn't work, then we need to fix that error. I'm hoping I don't have to have a perfect thing going on here, but let's find out. This is listening. All right, let's give it a minute. Maybe we just, oh, there we go. Here's our 4444 again. How is it not finding this? Because I already have a file with that name. So what the? Oh, I'm so silly. Okay, I'm already in get job. I need to get back one. So I need to be in here for this to work. I need to run from here. Was get job, if you look, is right where I am. So it needs to get in here and look for that file. So now that I know that, so now let's wait with our listener here. Now this time we got a 200. It's still complaining that message file was not found. But let's see. Okay, is it something to do with this? So here's the time. Maybe this time? It shouldn't. Okay, I'm going to modify this and remove this noise here. I'll just give it the job ID and the command to run. Maybe that will work. And another change that I'll make is this was job ID 0. What if I give this one a 1? Just in case if I was sending job ID 0, which you already had executed. What if this time I give it a 1? And I'll just take that, put it in my file, save, done. Before I run this command here, I need to be one directory back and run it. And my listener is here. Here's my server. So I'll just wait for it. This time I'm saying, hey, here's my job ID. The command to run is that. Let's see if it calls me back. And first we need to wait for the actual job. This is not like port knocking or anything. So maybe this should just work. There we go. Get job 200. I didn't get an error this time. So did it? Yes, it did work. So the payload that works, it took different iterations. It's just a job ID. Make sure you increase it by 1 and put your payload here. Well, since I'm there, can I do an ls? Yes, now I can say get user.text. Okay, now that we have a flag, let's go back and see how we can interact with this. Which Python? Okay, we do have Python 3, so let's stabilize this shell by saying, hey Python, let's import shell so that the shell is actually better so I can clear. Oh, I need to set the environment variable. We just export term to be xterm. I think that should fix it. Okay, now I can say clear ls-la. So now we're in privilege escalation mode. All right, I see product.py. That's an interesting script. And here's my user file. Again, if I do an ID, just make sure that I'm not in a Docker container. I also see this group here. Actually, that's just a user. Okay, so I'm not in a Docker container. And I have product.py. Cat product.py. Okay, products.py. What do you have? I could have piped that to less. Okay, so it's connecting to a MySQL server. Host is goes to localhost. Database is up. Oh, user is up. And there's a password here. Is that a valid user? Let's search home. So we do not have a user app, but is this password reuse? Let's see. If there's password reuse, maybe I can just switch there. Okay, so that's not it. Sudo -l. I doubt this is it. Yeah, I don't have the password, so I can just hit enter here until I'm done. So we do have a MySQL -user app -p. Let's see if it will prompt me for a password. Then I give it that one. Okay. Show databases. Let's see if I can see the databases. Okay. Use app. And here I need to see all tables. So select. I need to do I think it's show tables. It should show me the tables. Okay. Select everything from products. Okay, that's not going to help me. Black shirt, gray shirt. I don't have users in here, so that's not gonna help me. So I can exit it. Okay, we do not have net tools. PS. Okay, so I need to find out what ports are open. Let me use the ss command here. Okay, so ss command is going to show me what's listening. Dash tune, something like that. Okay, so here's what we have now. This is the MySQL server that was listening locally that we found, including this one here. But I also see port 80 listening locally. That's interesting. That one is interesting to me. So who is listening on 80? Curl HTTP. Okay. Oh, that was ugly. But I see that it's PHP my admin. And it's talking about leading to a security risk. So we do have a PHP my admin here. I wonder if we can just sign into this thing. So we have port 80. That's listening on that's PHP my admin. So what I would do is I would need just to do a port forward so that I can access that PHP my admin from my Kali. SSH tunneling. Here's all the different tunneling. Maybe I should put chisel. Should I forward one port or all port? So chisel server. Then the port. Your machine chisel client. Listen. I think I used chisel last time. So let's see if I can find. I can just maybe. Let's just use socket. Here it is. Actually, I can just download it. There it is in my downloads. CD downloads. ls. So now, here's my socket binary. Python. First, let me do an IPA. Make sure that we know. Then we'll do a Python 3 -m HTTP 780. Let's just wget that socket binary to this IP. Let's go. Oh, this is still reaching out to me. No. Let's cd to temp. ls wget HTTP to that slash socket. There we go. We transferred it. Here's my socket. Now I need to chmod plus X socket. ls socket. It's an executable. Okay. So now that we have a socket binary here, we just need to figure out what is the syntax for this thing. And here it is. So the syntax for socket is super simple. It's one port. So let's use this one. I'll just kind of fix it quick. We're not in Windows, so this is just going to be socket. Like that. It's TCP listen. Let's put this to be, I guess I can leave it in 8002. And this is 8080. So we're saying, hey, this port that's 80 here, make sure that it's exposed on 8002. So now let's go. Copy that. Back here. We'll paste it. All right, now that socket is listening, I should have actually opened a new terminal, but that's fine. Socket is listening. I can come back to my Kali, open a browser, and try to see if I can go to port 8002. HTTP to the IP address of that on port 8002. I should be able to reach PHPMyAdmin. So that's how you can get these ports out. And I just said one port, so that was good. I found some crazy earlier. Up and that password and go. Please work. Yes. Don't save. Ignore that. So here, we can see, we can run queries, but these queries are not going to let us anywhere because we were already in the database. So PHPMyAdmin version 4.8.1. That sounds old. So since that's my version, I can just Google it. Oh, okay. So there is remote code execution here. Okay, so here, after looking up that version of PHPMyAdmin, I ran into this article from Rapid7, and it looks like it's a straightforward Metasploit. I'll give it a go. Then we can do it by hand as well if we need to. MSF console. So my goal here is to see if it actually works. Then for those who are going for the OSCP, there might be even a POC that just would do it manually. Show targets. So the target here for me is going to be Linux. So show targets. Okay. What are the options? So it wants a local host and local port. Set L host to be tunnel 0. Set L port to be 5555. Okay. We need to set up the R host and R port. Set R host to that. Set R port to whatever I've been using in the browser here, 8002. Set username to be up. I think, yeah, set password. We also have a password. Options. So I have password, our host, no proxy. Wait, our port is 280. Can I do and set our port here? Oh, it's set, not that. I'm glad that I checked because that would not have worked. Now let's see. Exploit. Okay, not vulnerable. Target is not vulnerable. Okay, before we move on here. Okay, so here's the target URI. It's slash PHPMyAdmin. Do I have a slash PHPMyAdmin here? No, actually the server target URI is at root. Oh man. Target URI is starting from root. Now if I run, it's hanging. Okay, so it seems to be working. So just because you tried a couple of times and it didn't work doesn't mean it doesn't work. The target URI was not correct there. So we have a metapreter session 1. Okay. Sessions 1. Shell, please. Okay, ID. So we're in as www data. I'm just www data sudo -l. Okay, so www data can run PHP. So now I will just go here and say GTF4 beans. Do I have a PHP somewhere? I hope. And this is a sudo. I'll just copy that. Hope it works in a metapreter shell. ID. Yes, it worked. cd/root ls pwd. So where's my root.txt? Oh, it's right there. It's a hidden file. Of course, they had to hide it. cat.root.txt. And we get the flag. But we can get a full shell by adding SSH keys in here in the allowed. But for now, we got the flag. This was a lot of fun and a lot of ups and downs for me. Got stuck with silly things today. But after a while here, probably more than an hour, we got it done. So if you like this, please remember to like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think and what mistakes I might have made. I'm very curious what you think. Otherwise, thanks very much. And I hope to see you next time. Please subscribe.